A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to Business Live. My name is Emmanuel Apwachi. We are always live right here on the Joy News channel. Coming up in tonight's edition, Tullow Oil cuts gas supply to Ghana Gas, citing precarious situation of the turret system of the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah offshore on the Jubilee field. Finance Minister Setekpe tasked Ghana Revenue Authority to expand its electronic payment services as a way of easing revenue mobilization and fast-tracking efforts towards a cashless economy. And the Integrated Social Development Center, ISODEC, calls on government to create a venture capital fund for small-scale enterprises in Ghana's mining, oil and gas sector. These and others coming up in the next 25 minutes or so. You can always stay interactive with us by tweeting at Joy Business. GH is our handle. And on Facebook, we are on Joy Business. For more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Taking a break, the details come up shortly.
Business Live today is brought to you by GCB Bank.
Welcome back and thanks for staying. Now to the fair story. Executive Director of the Integrated Social Development Center, ISODEC, Dr. Steve Mantiao, has called on government to create an agency to serve as a source of venture capital funding for small-scale enterprises in Ghana's mining, oil and gas sector. This, according to him, will encourage various small-scale enterprises to take up some huge investments in the sector. There's more in this report.
Participation of indigenous companies in the oil and gas sector has always been the concerns of many agencies, organizations, and individuals who believe that more could be done to get Ghanaians' participation increased. The Integrated Social Development Center, ISODEC, is the latest to add its voice. Speaking to Joy Business in an interview, Executive Director of the ISODEC, who is also a member of the Public Interest Accountability Committee, Dr. Steve Mantiao, is of the view that if Ghana wants to achieve a significant benefit from the nation's oil find, then the creation of a venture capital is the best way to go.
The participation of Ghanaians in nation building, we are told that, well, we open it to international competition and the Ghanaians are encouraged to what? That's all right. But then you need to have the capacity, which is like financial wherewithal. Look, some of these procurements require millions of dollars in turnover. And many Ghanaians do not have this. So what you want to do is to be able to provide a certain support mechanism. Let's say the establishment of a venture capital fund. So that I'm able to secure, let's say, a contract worth $5 million, $10 million. I can coolly go to this venture capital fund, source money to deliver. That's how you support enterprises, local enterprises.
According to him, the venture capital fund will serve as a source of funding for small-scale enterprises to do meaningful businesses in the sector, due to its capital-intensive nature. Dr. Mantiao believes local content is not only about job creations.
When we talk about local content, it is not just about creating job opportunities for our people. And it is also not just about the input, the supplies, which are sourced locally. It's also about beneficiation, value addition and all that. It's about integrating the sector into the rest of the larger national economy. We've mined gold for over 100 years, but we've not quite managed to integrate the gold sector into the rest of the economy. And so we are continuing to export gold bars when we could export jewelry. What you do is that you take your raw material gold, feed it into domestic jewelry making, add value to it. So when you export, you are getting more for your gold exports, but then you are also creating jobs for your people. And as you create jobs for your people, you are creating tax opportunities because the people will be paying taxes, the companies will be paying taxes. So you are mobilizing domestic tax revenue to finance your development. This is what we have missed all over this year.
Some experts argue that such a venture fund could be funded from the oil and gas revenue, as well as the petroleum holding funds.
Now, Ghana Gas says supply of gas from the Jubilee field has been cut down to 50 million metric standard cubic feet of gas. A statement by the national gas processor says it was informed by Tullow Oil that the current situation is due to the precarious state of the turret system on the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah offshore on the Jubilee field. Joining us on the phone lines now for some more insights into this development is Communications Manager of Ghana Gas Company, Alfred Ugbami. Alfred, good evening. Welcome to Business Live.
Yeah, good evening.
Now tell us exactly how much gas are you receiving currently from Tullow?
At the moment, we're getting about 40 million standard cubic of gas, 46 MSCAP, yeah.
All right, so what could be the cause, or what is the cause for this shortfall in gas supply?
Well, Tullow have informed us they're doing some work on the FPSO upstream, and as a result, they've reduced their projected gas supply, natural gas supply to us from the 1st of November to 21st of November. That is the reason for the dip in supply.
So it's going to last for 1 month?
Not exactly 1 month. 1st of November, 21st of November.
To 21st of November?
Yes.
Okay.
3 weeks.
All right. So apart from lean gas, are you also cutting down, or is Tullow also cutting down on other forms of derivatives of gas?
Can you repeat what you said? I did not hear you.
Apart from the lean gas being supplied by Tullow, are you also experiencing or going to experience a shortfall in other derivatives?
Of course. Well, Tullow doesn't supply lean gas. They supply natural gas. That's wet gas. It has all sort of, it comes to water and oil, water oils and other things. And we process the gas as a result of what you call a fractionation process. We break the various products into various fractions. Of course, the dominant fraction that we get out of the production is lean gas. But then, based on the amount of or volume of gas that we get, you will be able to get fractions of the various products. So, yes, a reduction in the supply of natural gas to Ghana Gas will lead to a consequential reduction in the availability of all the gas products that we.
All right. Now, have you informed your other? Hello. All right. So we lost the Alfred Ugbami there. We'll try and link up with him again to actually tell us whether we should expect any impact negatively on the supply of power by the VRA. You're still on Business Live. Let's move on. And the Institute of Energy Studies, IES, is predicting prices of diesel and petrol to remain fairly stable at the pumps for the first pricing window for the month of November. The IES cites the marginal reduction in the national fuel stock, the marginal appreciation of the Ghana cedi against the US dollar, and the marginal and the up to 3% increase in the prices of finished products on the world market. Principal Research Analyst of the IES, Richmond Roxon, explained this earlier on the marketplace.
Because currently we're importing finished products apart from toll that is refining crude in the country. We don't have any other refinery. So when you use only crude oil, it will be misleading. But the funny aspect is that for the in the last window, you realize that the prices were going up because of OPEC's decision to cut down production. But as of now, they are even not certain about it because some members are pulling out and the parameters have not been set. So when you look at the benchmark for prices, we have Platts we use as a benchmark where at the end of the day, refining this crude only, the price of crude only cannot be determined or cannot be used as a benchmark. You have to take into consideration what Platts is also bringing on board as a benchmark. And as the statement captures, Platts prices went up slightly by almost about 3%. So we take into consideration the market competition, we take into consideration the forex, we take into consideration crude oil price, and also we take into consideration the benchmark when it comes to finished product.
All right, so that was Principal Research Analyst of the Institute of Energy Security, Richmond Roxon. Now we're going back on the line to talk to the Communications Manager for Ghana Gas Company, Alfred Ugbami. Alfred, are you back on the line?
Yes, I'm back on the line. I hope you're back on the line. I can hear you clearly now. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Now, I wanted to know if you have informed your other agencies or other off-takers about this planned shutdown or planned shortfall in gas supply, and do we expect any negative impact on power supply?
Yes, we've informed. Just a minute. We've informed people there and others as to what is happening. We put them, and I think that they are aware. Do we anticipate whether it will impact negatively on the power generation? I cannot speak to that because we are not a power generating company. Number two, yes, in as much as it will lead to a consequential reduction in the availability of power, it does not mean that it's going to have an impact nationwide because we have various sources of generation. And again, there have been some significant improvement in generation, for example, from Akusumo. So to speak directly to your question, you would have to speak to the committee in charge of the power sector, which is headed by Mr. Mona, the Great boss. Okay. That committee will be able to tell you the availability of power from the various sources of generation. And by that, they'll be able to tell you whether there will be an impact or not. I cannot speak to that. We do not generate power. We provide an alternative fuel source to aid power generation.
All right. My final question is, I know you are also not a member of TALO, but with the current situation, do you think that it is time for the FPSO to finally go for major maintenance, because it looks like the tariff system is becoming a major trouble?
Well, you yourself answered the question earlier. You said, it looks like, you know that I don't work for TALO. Okay. I don't have in-depth knowledge of what happens there unless they communicate to us. Of course, in as much as I may have some general knowledge, it doesn't entitle me to speak to things that I cannot authoritatively speak to.
All right. Thank you very much. That will be it for now. Alfred Ugbami is the Communications Manager for TALO, for Ghana Gas. Moving on, Finance Minister Seth Terkper has tasked the Ghana Revenue Authority to expand its electronic payment services. This, he said, would ease revenue mobilization and fast-track efforts to promote a cashless economy. Mr. Terkper spoke to Joy Business at the launch of Ghana National Single Window EcoBank Cash Express Card for payment of duties.
The Cash Express card, introduced by West Blue Consulting, operators of the Ghana National Single Window Project and EcoBank, is set to transform the payment of duties. The card forms part of multiple e-payment services being introduced as part of the Single Window Project to enable efficient revenue collection. Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, George Blankson, who spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the card, indicated the introduction of the mode of payment of duties would facilitate trade.
You know, all along we have had electronic payment for IDF, that is the import declaration form fee that is paid by importers. But when it comes to payment of duties and taxes on imports, it's only done by paying cash or bank draft to the banks directly. Now, with the launch of this card, it is possible to do electronic payment online. And we believe this offers greater security to taxpayers and importers in general, and also facilitates the payment of tax, making it easier for them to honor their tax obligations.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Seth Tekbe has tasked the Ghana Revenue Authority to intensify public education on its e-payment services. He said government would continue to roll out initiatives to reduce the cost of doing business and deepen financial inclusion.
The e-payment initiatives just recognizes that these days you don't have to carry cash, to do a lot of transactions. From mobile phones to cards to so many things, you can avoid, the use of cash. So first of all, it's part of our cashless, society effort. Secondly, by bringing in more people, it's part of the financial inclusion agenda. And then thirdly, it mobilizes. It helps the banks mobilize resources, more quickly. It reduces the cost of business, doing business, as we have just said. The inconvenience of going to a bank, withdrawing money, going to make a payment, and it is taken back. The cash substitutes for all of this. So as a ministry, together with the central bank, we have been launching, improvements to the payment systems in the country. We are spearheading the e-payment systems in government, and I think this is a very good example of how, the cost of doing business as far as government is concerned, can go down.
The challenging revenue numbers for the half year can be attributed to the poor performance of businesses for 2015. That's the view of a partner, the accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, Michael Esieduentwi. Latest figures for July this year show that government's revenue target was reduced by 2.3 billion cedis. This means the state was able to mobilize only 18.5 billion cedis, as an indication that domestic revenue and corporate taxes suffered heavily. But speaking to Joy Business after an encounter with some CEOs on data analysis, Mr. Esieduentwi said most businesses are yet to come out of last year's crisis.
What happened the past 18 months or so was that businesses did suffer immensely from the power issue. And if you are spending significant amount of money to first of all buy your generator and then run the generator, then clearly you're not going to be making substantial returns out of which you pay taxes. So taxes, for many companies went down because they made losses. And if they made losses, they're not going to be able to be paying taxes, or they are not going to have a taxable income out of which they pay taxes. So the government revenue coming down from taxes is not because the businesses don't want to pay the taxes, but it's because the businesses did not make the profits out of which to pay the taxes. Now, the power, as I said, the situation has sort of improved, but it's going to take a little while for businesses to pick up and to get to the point where they're making, the profits that they had made in the previous years, to be able to pay the level of taxes that we expect them to be paying. But in terms of the amount of taxes, that's not what the problem is. It's just that they didn't make the profit to pay out of it to pay taxes. If you take the banks, for instance, they have had to take big provisions out of certain facilities they've given to the BDCs, for instance. Now, if you are taking provisions and and other losses that you're incurring from the credit you have offered, then it comes to hurt your bottom line. And if your bottom line is low, then it's the same story. Your taxes will also be low.
You're still watching Business Live. Moving on, the Chief Executive of Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement Systems, Archie Hesse, is urging shop owners and other service providers to see electronic payment systems as tools to increase their sales. He says apart from the convenience, electronic payment systems also enable people who do not have cash on them to still buy or pay for a service. He's therefore urging shop owners and service providers to get point-of-sale devices that will enable customers to use their ASWICH cards, mobile money and other electronic payment options at their shops and other outlets where payments are made. According to him, once customers have a variety of options to make payments, they are likely to buy as much as they want, and that could increase sales for the shop owners, particularly during the Christmas festivities. The 2016 edition of the Love FM's Beauty and Bridal Fair ended over the weekend with exhibitors positive about the future of their businesses. The annual event brings together providers of beauty products and services for potential buyers. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Kwesi Debra has more.
Some of the exhibitors tell Joy Business the 3-day event provides avenues for links to expand their clientele base.
Added this thing, screening for kids, and then they did the kids village, and I said, why not? Why don't I come and display my books since kids will be coming around? So far it's been good, not necessarily for sales, but I need the publicity.
Program Phobia Flora and Deco. The program was just superb. It's still ongoing.
Oh, I see it to be something that people recommend. You get people calling you for. I came to your events, do the Love FM Bridal Fair. Hear people talking about that.
Like, they bought some things, and some people have taken my flyers to contact me later. So I think it's good.
We are Air Naturals in Kumasi, and we are here at the Bridal Fair. We are doing salon services, we are treating hair, we are selling products as well. This year's Bridal Fair, in fact, is our first time, and we are sponsors as well, and it's been very encouraging.
And all the whole, I think it's been good.
From the Kiss fashion show to the relationship seminar, patrons had a lot to be excited about.
It will boost traders, it will boost manufacturing, it will boost people who are also interested to get goods to buy.
I've also picked bag for my wife, sandals for myself, and other few things. Yeah.
All in all, how would you describe your week?
Oh, it's been good. I think I like it.
The Beauty and Bridal Fair is a collaboration between Love FM and Golden Tulip Kumasi City. Events and Promotions Executive Louise Lames promises more exciting programs to enhance business growth to improve the local economy.
That is what we've always sought to do, to make it easy for buying and selling for our patrons and our clients with all the events we have. The fairs we've organized, and this is not an exception. And I think that we've proudly and boldly and confidently we can say that we've delivered on the promise we made to the people of Kumasi. And
reporting for Joy Business, Kwesi Debra.
This is Business Live. We're taking a short break here. We'll be right back.
Business Live today was brought to you by GCB Bank.
Welcome back. Now, State Oil Refinery TOR says it is making progress in clearing its long-standing debts, which nearly crippled its operations in the banking sector as well. George Rafi has been exploring the implications of the refinery's debt recovery improvement on the cost of borrowing and price of petroleum products. That's on Interview of the Day.
Monthly, the bond has been issued. We pay our monthly bond fees. This is coming from the Energy Sector Levies Act, the TOR Debt Recovery Levy portion, which is about 8 pesos per litre. I think we've been running it now for 3 months. We're going into our 4th month, and all the payments have been made on schedule.
Are you meeting your part of the deal in terms of your receivables coming in to offset this?
We are.
As we speak right now, so what's the total debt as we speak right now?
I don't know that off my head.
What was the cost of the bond that was issued? What was the price?
The cost of the bond, the value, face value of the bond is 918 million cedis.
Okay, and hopefully that's a 10-year period, right?
It's a 10-year period.
Right.
But we believe we have an accelerated payments option in it, and we believe that as we go past our reforms and as we get the business at a certain level, we can accelerate those payments.
There are figures like 6 billion, the debt. Is that $6 billion? Is that the...
No, there's no $6 billion debt.
So what's the actual debt as we speak right now?
The actual debt in TOR would be between $500 and $550 million.
Many thanks for being part of this evening's edition of Business Live. Thank you for watching, and do come again tomorrow, same time, for more developments in the world of business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Yafi. Keep watching. Up next, Focus on Africa.